Adam Jones called his first fair catch since 2006.
I know. He should have done it 2 punts before that, but yeah.
Here, let me blow your guys' mind while we're waiting.
Okay, good.
I feel like that's an appropriate time to
Thank
do
you.
this.
Yeah, well, it's the right time of the morning.
Yes. So I'm going to read you some stat lines, one of which is Andy Dalton, one of which I'd like you guys to guess, who is a fellow AFC North quarterback. Andy Dalton's stat line for the season, 2,500 yards, give or take a few. 63% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 81.2 rating. That's Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you the other line. I want to have you guys guess who it is. 3,000 yards, give or take a few. 56% completion rate, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 79.9 rating. Who do you think that is?
Flacco.
Any other guesses around the table?
Roethlisberger.
Well, he's got like 30 touchdowns, so that's not him. But
Roethlisberger?
That is
Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer. That is Brian Hoyer, who is now dethroned by
Did you
the
see him
famous
after
Johnny
in the
Manziel.
press conconference? He was like, "I still think this is my team" or something.
Oh, but okay.
I'm just saying he's in a bad spot. They bailed on him. He's
Well,
been waiting for
ouch.
it.
He's
He's been
free
waiting
agent at the
for
end of next year.
it. He's felt like the hammer's going to fall, and it just fell.
Do you remember in the wake of that loss to the Browns, there were articles being written that the Bengals should pursue Brian Hoyer in free agency. And it's like...
Those are eerie close. I mean, to have somebody who's, as we've been talking about, dethroned in the middle of a playoff race, who has an almost identical stat line to a guy who's still considered our franchise leader.
But it's all about situations, isn't it? By the way, this is PG O'Keefe. He runs WCPO.com. But it's all about situation, right? It's not, you can run these stat lines. This is what drives me crazy about sabermetricians in baseball, is they run these stat lines and all this, but it doesn't. It doesn't tell. It doesn't address the texture of the game and when those numbers are being, either developed or produced or whatever. So you really don't. You can throw those numbers out. But when did they happen?
And you go back to maybe the only time that I can remember in my lifetime that it was successful, and that's with the 49ers a couple of years ago when Alex Smith suffers a concussion. He had 6 wins on the season to that point as a starting quarterback, never gets back into the starting lineup, and then Colin Kaepernick takes him to the Super Bowl and is one final drive away from winning that game. So
Alex Smith looked in rough shape last night, too.
And so now Colin Kaepernick does as well. So it's
and Andy's have come in bulk. I mean, when he's thrown his picks, he's thrown them. I mean, he's got the Cleveland game and the Tampa Bay game with 3 picks each, and then the Carolina game, which is an elongated game, but 2 picks there. So yes, situational definitely. Overall, do you find that Andy has a positive quarterback rating that's going to be a better influence on your team? Yeah, absolutely.
And the book is out on him, right? I mean, it's clear. You pressure him, you win.
Right.
You pressure him, he throws picks.
We haven't talked about the running game, and that was our poll question last week.
Oh, yeah. How did that turn out?
We can take a look at that. The results, the question was, who should carry the ball more? Gio, Jeremy Hill, or equally between the two?
Oh, look at that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Gio is down on people's list. Some of them still at least want him to get half the carries. And Jeremy, it was a tie for equal in all Jeremy.
Le'Veon Bell from the Steelers coming to town this week. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of running back you need in the AFC North. I mean, we know that. That's the kind of running back I think Jeremy Hill can be.
Well,
I don't think Bernard can be
that.
You believe
that he's the everyday or the every down back, and Gio's the third gear or whatever.
I think so. I think you want somebody that can pound the ball. You want
Gio reminds me of James Brooks. When they used to have.
Yeah, a little bit. But I would rather have at this time of the year, I'd rather have the guy that's the horse that can pound it rather than some guy that can finesse you. That's just me.
Yeah.
And you're right, that's the makeup of the division. I think they're 2 great backs. How they figure out how they're going to divvy up the carries, I don't know.
And PJ, what's this week's question?
Yeah, this week we're talking about Marvin Lewis. We'll just jump to that. So, the challenge flag, was that indicative of his career as a genius, although perhaps not as obvious.
Indicative of his career as a genius.
Well, I mean, there's the positive reviews are
it's
out
indicative of the career.
Right. So, but as a genius or an idiot,
Okay.
and we have several answers. He has no idea what he's doing.
Ding, ding,
He
ding,
is a
ding,
quiet
ding, ding.
genius. He saved the day Sunday, so that's I guess something.
Yeah.
Is he crazy?
Where's the category? He's a great talent evaluator. That went on there as well.
Well, we're just talking about game management. We're talking about game management.
We should qualify
which they
that.
are terrible at.
Well, actually, and here's another
terrible at.
from your favorite neighborhood numbers man. So I looked up Marvin's challenge success rate in lieu of, because I don't know if you'd call Sundays a challenge success or not, because it was a very
How did you do that?
convoluted.
How did you do that?
Pro Football Reference keeps stats of coaches and their success rates for every red flag they've thrown,
Okay.
and Marvin is 12th in the league among active coaches.
And here's my take on that, though. You don't necessarily have to win every challenge. I like being aggressive with the challenge, even if you know you.
Yeah, I
Mike
agree.
Shanahan would throw it at any given second.
I would agree.
You know.
But I would
start burning timeouts. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
You can
and
spare the timeout. Yeah.
I would go with
They
that third one, though, that he saved the game Sunday. I don't think he's
There's
a
no
quiet
doubt about it.
genius. I
Sure.
think he knows what he's doing. But I would say
He
probably,
did.
probably that third one would be fair.
And just some interesting perspective on the challenge success rate. That's right next to Bill Belichick. I mean, Bill Belichick is, and I know that again, totally different. You can't evaluate
They're
a coach
also the
based
only
on
two
their
guys that
challenge
have
rate.
a million
Too bad.
challenges because Marvin's been in the league for 105.
Well, this is success rate. I'm talking
is
success
Bill
rate.
Belichick.
You got guys
Oh, you're
like
talking pure percentage.
yeah,
Who's
Rex
number one?
Ryan.
PJ, who's
Number one is Mike Tomlin. So
Wow.
here come the Steelers. He's got a 55% success rate. Number two, oddly enough, Rex Ryan. Half the time he gets it right.
Right.
Who's the worst?
Among active coaches, Jeff Fisher, excuse me, 35%. And this was as of the beginning of this year. We haven't counted up this whole year.
He has to have the most challenges of anybody, though, because he's
John
been around long.
Fox, actually, the most challenges. 100,
Really?
110 thrown in 12 years.
Wow.
So